Ah, what are you doing? This is Arnold Schwarzenegger, right after he won his sixth Mr. Olympia title in a row back in 1975. I will timestamp the beginning of the matchup between Frank Zane and Arnold if you want to go ahead and skip ahead to that. But if you want to stick around, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a history between these two dudes, or between Arnold and Frank Zane. Like I said, Arnold won the 1975 Olympia. This was during Pumping Iron. Did you know Frank Zane competed at this event? I know, strange, eh? This is the top three in the lightweight division, or the short man class, and still no Frank Zane. No Frank Zane pitchers anyway. It's Ed Corney, and of course the winner, Franco Columbo, and Albert Beckles there got third. And like I said, there's no pictures of Zane. Zane got fourth. There's even a picture of this guy in the background. That's Giuseppe Diana, I believe. Giuseppe Diana. Zane placed just ahead of that guy. That guy got fifth. But either which way, Frank Zane, I don't know what happened to him in 75. By 76, he must have definitely improved. He took second to Franco Columbo. And unfortunately, not a lot of good pitchers of the 76 Olympia. So hard to say if he really did improve. I'm sure he did. By 1977, Frank Zane, he realized his potential, and he won his very first Mr. Olympia title. And of course, there was no Franco there. There was no Arnold. Well, Arnold is right there. Look at these four. You got Joe Waiter. Here you go, Frank. Good job. And then Arnold, of course, he looks like a long-haired sucker. He let his hair grow out nice and long. I'm sure he asked Zane, "Hey Zane, how does it feel to win your Olympia title? Come on, tell me now." So Zane probably looked at Arnold and he said, "You know what, Arnold? It feels even better than when I beat you at the Universe back in 1968. "Ah, how dare you disrespect me like that, Frank Zane?" That must have made Arnold so upset that he returned to the bodybuilding stage just to show Frank Zane who is the boss in 1980. In actuality, Arnold did return in 1980. He was a shell of himself, even from 75. But the thing is, Frank Zane was down in size. He was injured. He got a serious injury, guys, like a bad one. So both of these guys in 1980 were down. They were not themselves. And I've done a comparison between these two versions. I'll link you at the end if you want to watch and hear my opinion on it. But the question is, if Arnold had more time, and it's possible, guys, he was still a young man, if he had time to get back that 1975 version, and if Frank Zane had never hurt his urethra, which would happen, and he brought that 1979 package, and, politics would have been down because it would have been your reigning strong champion versus the returning Arnold from 75, the 75 champion. Who would have won this one, guys? I'm sure most people would say Arnold because of the size. When all things are created equal, size does prevail. But are things created equal? Look at the detail of that midsection of Zane. That's incredible. Thin skin, things of that nature. He wrote the book on that. Now, here's a little camera trickery. Just to get a closer up shot, more like tomfoolery. It is a nice, clean, neat shot of Zane, though, and this is actually better. The closer up you get of Zane, the more it does favor this guy. Let's have a look at the backs. We have a nice little symmetry round here. Zane is peeled. Now, to be fair, I think this is 1983 for Zane, which he did get better. That 1980, he was way down. But yeah, it's a pretty good back for Arnold, too. Good condition. Underrated, guys. Look at that Christmas tree. Little wrinkles for the bum, but doesn't have a soggy donk by any means. From the side, it's kind of strange. Zane is surprisingly substantial when it comes to the triceps, baby please, development. It's going to be a good matchup, guys. Let's go through these shots. And I will reiterate, 1975 for Arnold, 1979 for Zane. There will be a couple of other different versions of Zane, but for the most part, it will be 79. This is a blurry picture. Used it for sizing only. Here is a clearer shot, because if you don't have these clear shots of Zane, it takes away from that detail. Look at the little detail, the finery details in the midsection, in the lats, the obliques. I mean, yes, he'll never have those big giant arms of Arnold. And Arnold does have those arms, guys. Nice wheels there for Zane. Actually doing quite well in the comparison. But yes, look at that finery detail. And I mean, hey, I am a huge fan of big arms. But Zane, he is fighting Arnold in this one. Ultimately, probably going to side with the biceps, though. Go to the front lat spread. And Zane, it's like a sword fight. Two duelers. One guy hauls out a sword. Usually Arnold just decapitates everybody. But Zane's like a fancy fencer. He's like ting ting. He hits him in the front double. Maybe not losing, but maybe not winning, but he's not losing. In the front lat spread, I gotta say, might even be beating Arnold. He's tilted a little bit thousely for Zane here, and just to make it more fair, nice black and white one. Yeah, look at the rib cage, and that is the thing, guys. We all know what Zane packs. That vacuum shot. And Arnold prides himself as a guy being able to hit a vacuum. So right out of the shoot, guys, the two first shots, Arnold's not beating Zane. Maybe in that front double, but not in the front lat. No way. Now here's where it gets a little iffy. Arnold, no doubt, is a supreme master of the side chest. He can hit it both sides, guys. No doubt. But to find a picture of Frank Zane hitting a side chest in his prime is impossible. This is as close as you're going to get. It's more of a side tricep. And that brings me to my next point. Look at Frank Zane hitting the side tricep in his prime. He is unbelievable in this shot. Maybe one of the best. But then, much like the side chest for him, you cannot find an Arnold in his prime hitting the side tricep. Maybe not the best. So are we safe to assume? Are we safe to hand off 1 point each? Side chest for Arnold, side tricep for Zane. Is that fair? I'm sure most people would shake my hand on that one. That's pretty fair, pretty fair. So I think we're safe to move into the back shots. And it's safe to say that these two guys are having a nice little matchup. Look at the hamstrings for Zane. Christmas tree, both guys are absolutely insane for their time. Arnold maybe even better. But Zane's pretty thick back there. For a shorter guy, I gotta say, he's just as big, just as muscular in the traps, things of that nature. Arnold had some good traps, good calves. Zane never had the best calves in the world. I'll tell you that right now. There were some guys back in the day weren't the best at calves, and Zane is in that group of guys, and Arnold had some of the best. But he's not that bad. That just goes to show you, calves in the 70s, 80s, more in the 70s were unbelievable. Unbelievable. No rear lat spread for either guy in their prime. There was a couple from other years, but I don't really think that it even makes sense to use those versions. We're talking 75 Arnold. We're talking late 70s Zane. So move on to the next pose, which is another giveaway. We all know, guys, Frank Zane is going to clean house, and I mean clean house, in the abs and thigh. Literally with a vacuum. If he couldn't beat him with the abs and thigh, which he could, he'd get him in the vacuum shot. And here is another flip-sided coin, or the other side of the coin. Arnold, he is going to win the most muscular. I don't think anybody would argue that. I think that's hands down for sure. I mean, yeah, Zane had a couple of nice pretty shots, but then if Zane goes ahead with this one, then Arnold, he comes out with then this one, and it is lights out. So, there's points being notched here, guys. There's points being deducted, given away. I don't think there's too many points being deducted. Who wins this one? Who wins this matchup, guys? Is it the supreme size, arm development, cunningness of Arnold Schwarzenegger? Look at those arms. Or is it the skills and also cunning and devious, cerebral type maneuvers of this Frank Zane? Arnold, one of the few guys, or Zane rather, one of the few guys Arnold's not going to outsmart. Obviously, in 75, Zane was terrible. And in 1980, again, Zane was terrible. So Arnold easily plucking away at the thin scraps of the downed Frank Zane. But is he going to defeat this here? This legend? I think, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give Arnold the victory, but it's going to be just slightly. Just slightly. If you are focusing more on aesthetics, yeah, of course, guys, nobody's more aesthetic than Frank Zane. But I'm looking at it more of a bodybuilding, straight up bodybuilding matchup. And I gotta say, Arnold from the back shots, if Zane was impressing me more, I think he would have got it, but Arnold with that Christmas tree, that's nuts, guys. And these arms are insane, too. So is Frank Zane, that rhymes. Zane's insane. The vacuum. Both guys are winners. But yeah, Arnold gets the trophy, as usual. As usual. Hit thumbs up on the video. And for a limited time, one time only, if you subscribe during this video, if you subscribe right now, you will be sprinkled, sizzled with some brand new good luck. Could be financial, could be luck in love. Anyway, if you believe it, it'll come true. Subscribe, now more than ever, one time only. I'm not going to say it again, guys. Have a nice one.